Yeah, g'day guys. I'm just here to share a quick video with you about money partners and what they are and how you find them and everything in between. So, look, reason for this video, I get a lot of people ask me how I go about funding my deals, and when I tell them that I use money partners, I kind of get a bit of a blank look, and then I get a lot of questions. So, I thought this video would be quite beneficial. So, who can be a money partner, or it can be an individual, it can be an entity, it can be a self-managed super fund, anyone essentially, or any looking for a return on their investment. So, an individual, they might have recently sold a property, they might have got an inheritance, they might have money in the bank, and they're just looking for a better return than what they're going to get in the bank. So in the bank, they're probably going to get next to nothing. Whereas as a money partner, I pay, as a borrower, I pay my money partners 15% return on investment per annum. So it's a good return that they can get on their money. So likewise, an entity, a company, or all my deals I do through a company that I've got set up. So if I wanted to money partner on someone else's deal, I could do it through my company. My wife and I have also just set up our self-managed super fund, and we've money partnered on somebody else's deal, on a development deal that they're doing. So I'm both, now officially both active. I borrow money, and I'm also at the other end of the scale. I'm also lending as well. So basically, that's sort of what money partners are. So look, money partners versus private lenders. Why would you use a money partner versus like a bank, for example? My situation was when I started, I had about 3 negatively geared properties, so I had no borrowing capacity. So I had no option except for finding money partners essentially to help me with my deals, because I knew bank wouldn't give me money. So, and then obviously I quickly transitioned into making this a full-time thing. So I was unable to get lending because I was self-employed anyway. So money partners have been, have enabled me to do what I've done in the last sort of 15 months or so. Without them, I wouldn't be where I am at the moment. How do you go about finding money partners? Look, I've been really fortunate to be part of the DG Institute. They have a really fantastic a community. They have a lot of people like myself doing deals, renovations or development deals, but they also have a really strong community full of people who are in there to money partner and who are looking to be a silent partner essentially. Some people, they might have businesses, they might have, career minded, they work long hours, time poor, so they're looking to create income through money partnering. Look, another really great thing about money partnering is if you're starting out and you want to start doing your own deals and so on, you might be able to start out as a money partner first. You might be able to do an apprenticeship and learn the ropes through money partnering on someone else's deal. You could meet somebody and say, look, I'm happy to money partner, but can you show me how you do it? Look, how a deal is structured is completely between the money partner and the lender. So there's no set amount to be paid. There's no set rules or anything like that. It's obviously it's what you guys negotiate and put together essentially. You could you can also do like a joint venture or something. So there's many ways that a deal can be structured, and that's between the parties involved. So what I typically do once I normally find a deal first. So I find a deal. I go and find my money partners. So because I've done quite a few deals already, I have a number of money partners that I can call upon. But I would, even if it's somebody I've used before, I would still provide them with a funding proposal. Funding proposal is basically what the deal is, where it is, everything about the deal. If it's a renovation, if it's development, everything that they need to know, the numbers side of it, and everything like that. I also provide them a current market analysis. So I say, look, this is what I'm doing to it. Similar properties on the market for this price, and similar properties similar to this have sold for this amount. So I show my money partners basically through my funding proposal and my current market analysis and my feasibility. So all my numbers, I show them basically what the outcome's going to be. So it's my job to show, to provide a good case as to why they should invest in me and my deal. And likewise, then the money partner has to do their due diligence at their end to make sure that they're comfortable with the deal. Now, then what I do is I typically use a property lawyer who can put together a loan agreement or a deed agreement, and that has everything that me as the borrower and then the lender, everything that we negotiate goes into that loan agreement. So the time frame, the amount of money, what I'm doing with the money, everything like that. It's all in there. So it's all a binding contract. So that way it's done professionally. And then obviously there's security as well. So you need to provide some sort of security generally for the money partner. So me as a borrower, they might get a first mortgage on the title. They might get a registered caveat on the title. They might get an unregistered caveat, which is not on the title. And then I usually also provide a personal guarantee as well. So without going into too much detail, but look, if there's no bank involved, if myself and the lender have purchased a property outright, then I can give that money partner a first mortgage, which means it's essentially they're like the bank essentially on there, and they get paid out first when that property sells. If there is a bank on there as a registered, I give the money partner a registered caveat, then essentially they get paid after the bank gets paid. And then one thing to be is me as the borrower, I always get paid last. So that's how the deal is structured. So that way the money partner gets paid before I do. So that's the security that they get. So that's kind of really what money partnering is. One other thing I just wanted to touch on is that I typically go for, a lot of my deals have been sort of cheaper properties. So I've been buying for that sort of around that 250 to 350 mark. And you can still make money on using those deals. But what I'm liking about those areas in particular at the moment is obviously we know a lot of areas have really softened at the moment. The market's softened because of the interest rates climbing and that sort of thing. But in Perth in particular, in these cheaper end part of town, it's more buoyant. One, obviously the bigger pool of buyers. There's always first home buyers and stuff like that still looking. In any market, when the market gets worse, typically your second and third home buyers in those more expensive areas, and that they sit on their hands more and do less. But in your first home buy areas where there's when I call it first home buy areas, your cheaper end of town, there's always a bigger pool of buyers. But the other thing that's really pushing those areas along still at the moment is the interstate investment and investors looking for rental yield. So there's still areas where there's positive cash flow, or there's or at least neutrally geared. So that's why I'm playing in that space, because it's really, really buoyant. But the reason why that's linked to money partnering is because the properties are cheaper, it's easier for me to finance them. And I'll give you an example. The Waikiki property that I've recently, I've been sharing videos with, the one I'm renovating at the moment. My money partner purchased the entire property and paid for the stamp duty, and I'm only paying for the actual renovation cost, which is about 48 grand. So how great's that? I mean, I'm able to do this deal using a money partner who's essentially paying for the entire property. And like I said, there's still going to be almost 80 grand in it. And the money partner, and I'm going to be in and out on this deal in 4 months, hopefully quicker. So in 4 months, I'm going to make the money partner on their 15% return on investment per annum. They'll make about 16.5 grand or something like that. And I'm still going to make sort of 60 plus on that deal. So essentially, that what I'm saying is that you don't have to buy in the A grade suburbs. You can still buy in cheaper areas, because it's going to make it easier to get finance, to get borrowing essentially. And last thing I wanted to mention actually as well is there are other ways of getting finance. So apart from mainstream lending, you certainly can get, there's second and third tier lenders and lenders, development finance, that sort of stuff, where you don't need to show servicing. But when you're playing in the cheaper space, and I've sort of run my numbers, anything below 800,000 or 900,000, I feel money partners is probably the best way to go, because even with your development finance, you might be sort of 7-8% or something like that, but they do have quite large establishment fees and other fees that you've got to take into consideration, which by the time you work them all out, you're up about the 15% plus mark anyway. So that's basically why I sort of opt to use money partners on my cheaper end deals versus say a second or third tier lender where I don't have to show servicing anyway, because it's more run around and typically going to work out probably more expensive using them than anyway. Than a money partner. I'm not bagging those guys out, because that development finance and all that is amazing for bigger deals, $1 million, $2 million, $3 million plus deals. But what I'm specifically saying is these smaller renovations where you're in and out quickly, money partners are the way to go. So just to finish off, money partnering is really, my money partners are really, really special to me. I'm really appreciative of what they've done. I'm really appreciative of the community, DG Institute community I've been a part of it, and the way that I've met these people. But yeah, I suppose at the end of the day, even if you're not part of a community at the moment, I'd recommend finding one. I'd recommend going to networking events and meeting people. At the end of the day, if you want to get started in this space, you've got to take action, and you've got to start speaking to people. That's all I wanted to share. Thank you.